For the past 25 years, we've been sold the idea that nostalgia means buying the 70th Darth Vader action figure or even the 50th He-Man and Battle Cat. But I'm starting to believe nostalgia is actually captured in a completely different aspect of toy collecting altogether. What you see next to me is the Final Faction action figure line that is sold at Dollar Tree. That's right, each one of these action figures is only $1, and they come on blister cards in very simplistic bubbles. They come with a few accessories each. There are good guys, there are bad guys, a little bit of a character description, not that that really matters in the grand scheme of things, and you even get accessory packs. But what makes this so nostalgic isn't the fact that they're, nostalgic characters from 25 years ago. What makes it nostalgic is that you can actually find them in a store and then you only pay $1 for the privilege of owning one. You walk away with a toy for $1 that you could find when you went to the store. I know it sounds crazy, but that actually is the most nostalgic thing I've experienced in the last 25 years. And I never would have expected that it would have come from a Dollar Tree toy line of characters I've never heard of. The greatest thing about this is that you can get the entire run, including the accessory packs, for less than $20. And that's insane to think about in 2021, when we're chasing down action figures from Hasbro that are now going on eBay for over $1,000 that are brand new. We can't find Masters of the Universe Origins figures in stores. Nothing is being properly distributed on that end. And yet these action figures are available, they're varied, they're a new idea, and each one is $1. I know I keep coming back to that, but that is huge. And it's refreshing. It really is refreshing. I am so sick of fighting to find something new that's already $20 or $25 or $39.99, can't find it, and the only way I'm actually ever going to get it is if I pay a scalper 3 times the price. Unacceptable. Final Faction, on the other hand, not a problem on all fronts. Now in this line we have 8 characters. We have the good guys called Alpha Team 1, and those figures include Steadfast, Shift, Steel, Ruck, and the ACRM drone robot. On the other side of this, we have the Karn, which are the evil aliens that are apparently trying to take all of the Earth's natural resources. And they include 3 figures, the drone, the brute, and the synthoid. As far as I can tell, all of the alien figures are troop builders. But when you're talking about each figure being $1, it's not going to be very hard to put together a massive army of aliens for the heroes to fight. There is an online cartoon that goes along with this toy line, but I didn't really put a lot of effort or time investment into looking at that, mainly because I was already so jazzed about the figures themselves that I really didn't see the need. I almost like the idea of being able to just impose my own thoughts on these action figures. I like the separation from a known mythology for them, because that's how we encountered most action figures back in the day. He-Man in 1982 started without a cartoon. Yeah, it had a comic book, but the comic book still freed you up to kind of imagine whatever you wanted. G.I. Joe didn't start with a cartoon. Yes, it had a comic book, but when you were young enough, you probably didn't have that comic book, and so they were just army guys. And in this respect, the Final Faction action figures are a kind of hybrid idea. They're 1 part Marvel, 1 part G.I. Joe, and 1 part Halo. And it works out really, really well. As far as the heroes go, you have Shift, who is sort of a futuristic ninja woman. You have Steadfast, who is this robot, Terminator, cyborg kind of guy. He's sort of part human, but he's got some cybernetic enhancements. He's the big guy in the group. You've also got Steel, who is, when you look at him, admittedly, he's a carbon copy for Falcon from Marvel, but he's a really cool addition to this figure line. And then finally you have Sergeant Ruck, which I always want to say Sergeant Rock when I first see his name. He's a lot like Jake Rockwell in Centurions. He's got a lot of heavy weapon attachments to his suit. And that's one of the really cool things about the Final Faction line, is that the accessory packs are made to be compatible with the entire range of figures. For the Alien Karn figures, most of the accessories are either for their hands or they plug into their backs. For Alpha Team 1, most of the accessories that are usable across all the heroes are the hand weapons. However, there are ports on the ACRM all over that mecha to attach various weapons from the accessory packs. And Sergeant Ruck also has on his armor some areas where he can have other things plug in. For the other heroes, it's mostly the hand weapons and the backpacks that switch between the accessory packs and the figures themselves. Similarly, the Karn aliens are very generic, but they're meant to be swarms of troop-builded baddies, and they come with their own weapons packs with their own Halo-looking style alien weaponry. The main heroes of Alpha Team 1 also have an accessory pack that comes with a drone. According to the card back description, the ACRM is piloted by a disabled boy named Boyd. However, because the description is a little vague, it's hard to determine whether or not he's actually in the mecha, which is how they describe it, or if he's piloting it from a remote location. But either way, this could ostensibly be a troop builder figure for Alpha Team 1, as you could have many pilots of many of these mecha. The articulation of the figures is only 5 points of articulation, but that's very familiar to somebody like me who grew up in the 80s. I have no problem with that. It keeps the action figures simple, it keeps them inexpensive. I also like the fact that they didn't go all out on the packaging. They do have nice artwork on the packaging, and then on top of that, while they're colorful, they don't do all that stuff of trying to put them in display trays inside the bubble. They just kind of have a bubble that goes over the figure to keep it in place, and that's it. And that also keeps the costs down. I think the figures are nicely painted. They're not, the fanciest paintwork. They're not the most detailed figures, but they don't need to be. They need to be fun, affordable, and they need to be easy to find. And that's what Final Faction has focused on. I feel like this toy company looked at the market and said, you know what's the most fun to play with? A toy that is easily found, a kid can afford it with their pocket money, and you can always go into a store and find some. That's the winning formula of the 80s. And it seems like Final Faction has figured that out. Hope you enjoyed that, everyone. If you want to see more videos about modern toys, you can watch our Star Wars Black Series video here. Or you can watch our Playmobil Ghostbusters video here. And now I'm going to go figure out where to display the Final Faction.